podcast.
Yeah.
We're here on the CubeCast with Rachel Gough. Gough?
Gough.
Okay. And Tom and myself.
Hi.
So yeah, we just jumped right into it because we were just losing a lot of good content, so we just started that off. So you just did a photo shoot, a kind of goth.
Yeah. So
shoot
Steve Media, the whole vibe. We like our kind of like gothic, punky style. Most of us who are in the team are quite like that. So we wanted to get a photo shoot that showed that. Noah,
Okay.
turn that down, Jesus.
All good. I'm not hearing anything on this end.
I'm not
so-
hearing anything either. This is great.
It was he started playing Family Guy in there, but it was like anyway, yeah. So the photo shoot was fun.
Very good.
Right on.
When are the photos of that coming out?
When Noah can be bothered to edit them, probably go through them and decide which ones are usable and which ones I'm like blinking in, which is probably most of them.
That's so funny. It's so true when you're doing photoshops where you're trying not to smile. Okay, look uninterested. Kind of thing, you know?
Try and get natural laughs as well. So when Elise is doing her photos or when I'm doing mine, the other one is like dancing behind Noah taking the photo to try and make each other laugh. It just looks fun. It looks better if you got a natural smile. And we don't always want to look dead inside. Like, yeah, we're like punky and gothic, but we're happy, you know?
Yeah, right on.
Cool. Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Well,
Yeah.
Harper's about anything. It's about fun, right?
Yeah.
No doubt.
Fun and frogs, I don't know.
Jumping pops.
Yeah.
Exactly. When did you start doing parkour?
So I started parkour. It's kind of weird because I found out about parkour when I was about 15. So I started doing gymnastics for about a year. I did it as a kid and I picked it up for about a year and a bit when I was about 14. But they had like these open sessions at my gymnastics gym. And there was these parkour people that would go because there was actually it was really small, a small parkour gym attached to the gym where I did gymnastics. The parkour people would go like at the open gym as well because you could use the gymnastics center. And like I kind of made friends with some of them there, but it was like kind of forbidden to mingle with the parkour lot.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna distract you. You can't talk to the boys, Rachel. And then obviously everyone thought that the reason I was trying to I decided to like try out some parkour moves just because I was interested by it and I ended up started taking Friday classes, but it took a while to convince the people around me and especially my dad that I was doing it because I enjoyed it, not just because I fancied boys that did parkour and shit like that. Because yeah, my dad was fully convinced. He was like, "Are you going off to hang out with those boys again, Rachel?" And I'm like, "I just want to do some jumps, but okay."
Not like playing football, but doing parkour.
Yeah,
Like,
it
don't
was
play
like
football with
thing.
boys, but yeah.
Yeah, it was really annoying, but yeah, I would say I officially started because I went to Project Underground in February 2019. I was kind of going to the parkour gym about once a week, maybe, just because I made some friends with people there, but I was mostly kind of doing still gymnastics. But I ended up going back completely by myself to Project Underground. I turned 16 by then, and everyone in my gym had been going on about how they were all going to go to this event. It was all the way in Sheffield, which is where I live now, which is 2 hours away from where I lived. And they were going on about it. I researched the event. I was like, this looks so cool. I really want to go. Wow, it looks so fun. I was like, guys, have you got your tickets? And they're like, yeah, we have, sure. And then so I was like, sick. I bought my ticket, and then they were like, oh, yeah, we actually didn't get any tickets, and we're not going. I'm like, okay, great. But I still had my ticket, so I was like, guess I'm going by myself. I just went by myself, and it was absolutely terrifying because I was the most awkward little 16-year-old. Still am, but I'm a 19-year-old now. But
Yeah.
it was absolutely terrifying. But I made some friends, and that's where the first time I met like Elise and street media and like found out about that. And yeah, most people were really nice. I got like coerced into competing, which was probably the most embarrassing moment of my life at the time. Now I just look back at it and find it funny. But I did compete, and it was an interesting take on free running.
Was like a style event?
Yeah, it was like a style competition, and I was like, yeah. They were like, oh, Rachel, you're the only girl here that could like qualify, like that is old enough to do the adult category. We haven't got any women in it. Oh, and then Sydney, would you want to do it? And I was like, no. And then they were like, come on, you know you want to do it, just do it. And then I was just like, no. But like 10 minutes maybe before the final like thing closed, they were like, yeah. I was like, sure, I guess I'll do it. And it wasn't great, but a lot of people had a lot of things to say.
Was that on your Instagram?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram somewhere.
You know what? I checked out that run because you're like, I wasn't too sure if I should post this, whatever. I liked it. But I see a lot of you in me, or me and you, coming up. Because I wouldn't post stuff, but I could see how my runs were and where, I could use improvement, or where I was really proud of myself because it was a huge gap or pre or whatever. And for back then, it was, kind of cool. And now it's kind of more flowier, how you have a couple more years onto it. But no. And then I see your today's. I'm like, come on. Like, you got to learn from somewhere. Like, if that was, like, your most embarrassing thing, well, that's done and over with.
Oh, it's definitely not the most embarrassing. It's the most embarrassing thing at the time. We've gone
exactly.
We've gone way less since then. But it's all a learning experience. You got to, like, people get scared to compete, and I currently don't, like, I'm still like trying to push myself to compete in more things because I get so nervous and stuff.
Sure.
But I definitely don't regret competing in projects like now, like looking back on it. But definitely, like right after I did it, I was like, I regret that, because a lot of people were like, actually no, I have a fun thing that which I did find. I'm going to mention. After I finished my run, like some people like kind of made fun of me for it. They were like, well, that was interesting and stuff. And like some people, I knew that some people like said, like talking to each other, like saying like, oh, why'd you do that? That was shit. But one person came up to me and gave me a fist bump and said that was sick. And that was Joe Scandrett, who was probably one of my favorite athletes and like that I was watching at the time. And he came up to me and was like, that was sick, good effort, gave me a fist bump. And I was just like, I don't care. I don't care that these people were telling me this shit. Joe Scandrett came and told me it was good, so that that cancels everything else.
Cancels everything else.
I know, and then it was like one of those things. I was like, well, that's made my week, because I was like when you're starting out in the community as well, like all these people who are like, they're like, ooh, these famous athletes. Like I was like young, and I was just like, oh my god, it's Joe Scandrett.
I know, right? Trying to keep your shit together.
Yeah, I couldn't keep my shit together. There was Sydney Olsen there. It was literally like probably one of the only women I'd ever seen doing like proper like parkour at the time, because I wasn't that deep in the community at the time. But she was there, and I was like, oh my god, Sydney, hi, can I have a photo, please? And now I'm just like,
I had a similar moment. It was Andrea Ross. She's a Canadian stunter. Not cheerlead, but like actually movie stunt.
yeah,
and I was training with her the day before a competition, and at the competition, because we were the only two women there. There was some younger ladies there, but so we kind of, instead of like sized each other up, we were just like, hey, like There's two chicks here. We might as well be friends, kind of thing. And then not until I Googled her and saw who she was, I'm like, "Huh, are you kidding? What? Andrea, what? We're pals?" I'm like that. It didn't hit me then because I really didn't know. But when I was on my own, I was just like, "Oh, that's so cool." But you even knew who Sydney Olsen was before she came up to you. You're just like jaw drop, like fist bump.
I saw her and I was like, "Oh my god!" But I was like scared to talk to her. But I was like, "Hi, do you think I could get a photo, please?" And then I took a photo. I was like, "Thank you, bye." And I was just too scared. But now I think about it, I'm like, why was I that awkward?
Whatever.
Why?
Girls coming up to you and doing the same thing.
It's kind of gone in a cycle. So when that does happen to me now, I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Go over and say something. Totally.
I like just going up to people and talking to them now a lot more than I got it sounds like really, I don't know how to describe it, like big-headed maybe, but I have had people that come up and ask me for a photo, and I have had people I've seen that they're too scared. You can kind of tell when someone's too awkward to talk to you. So it's kind of nice that I'm just like, right, hi, I'm Rachel. What's your name?
Right, cool. Yeah, I like how you brought that around. Yeah, that's really neat.
Circle of parkour.
We'll name this podcast The Cycle of Parkour.
Circle of parkour.
Parkour famous is such a funny concept too, because everyone in the parkour world knows, a lot of the other athletes, but then anyone outside of parkour has no idea.
Yeah, no.
Right? So it's you can be like, oh my god, that's that person there, it's so important. And then the person over there is like, I have no idea who that is.
I'm like that a lot. But it's describing it to people outside the community as well.
Exactly.
They don't care. But they do, but they don't. It's a confusing one. Explaining it to my family as well. When I repost people taking photos with me on my Instagram, my parents are completely convinced that I'm famous, and I'm like, no. It's just in this tiny community. Maybe some of them have heard of me before. There's a good chance, right? Mm-hmm. And then my parents are just convinced, no, A-list celebrity, famous. And then they'll tell their family friends, and especially my sister as well. When I went to my sister's birthday party, she was like, "This is my sister. My sister's famous, by the way." Yeah, she's Instagram famous. And then I'm just kind of there not really, to be honest. No.
Well, you got a pretty solid Instagram following. You're definitely parkour famous.
I would say it's parkour kind of well known, but definitely not Instagram famous. But it's just funny that I don't know.
In our own genre, for parkour genre, you are definitely within the top 25. Yeah.
Parkour niche, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most important niche there is. So.
Well, that's all it counts.
That's all matters.
Right?
Yeah, it's good. It filters out all the lame people. I say lame people. Let's face it. All parkour people are lame people, but they're cool.
Oh snap!
They're all the lame people that just shouldn't. That just we're just told they were lame, but they're just not. They're just they're all cool people.
Yeah, they are.
Absolutely.
And now when I meet normal people, I'm like, why are you so boring?
It seems muggles don't have drive.
Yeah, no, that's exactly had this conversation. I was talking with my family because I've been because I moved to Sheffield and I didn't really know anyone outside parkour. I was like, right, I'm gonna try and make some friends that are my own age, and and I've just been trying to talk to people, and then when I talk to random people at some parties, I've made some good friends that are really cool. But I just talked to some random people at some parties, and I'm like, oh, you are so boring. It sounds horrible, but like,
What's the catch? Yeah, why am I interested? What's the catch here? Like, what do you do? Nothing. I game, or I'm not even game. Like, do nothing. Like, I work and I work and I work and I sleep and I work. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, I guess we need people like you in the world, but yeah, you are boring.
like anyone who's got passion for anything, I think is so cool. Like, I don't care what it is, but if you
Mhm.
have a stupid passion, like, I don't care if it's like medieval fighting. If you're really passionate about it, that's sick and that makes you cool.
Yeah.
Whereas so many people that I've met, they don't really have any passion for anything. And it's like, go away. Not go
Yeah.
away, but like,
No, find something. Do what I do. Do what they do. Find something.
it's cool to be like, you know, moved out and studying and stuff, but what are you actually passionate about? And like, what are you doing to like pursue that? And then they're just like, I go clubbing most weekends. I'm like, oh, cool, nice. It's a great passion. What's that
Right,
really
like,
go for it.
well, when you ask somebody whether they do, and it's automatically a job, right? And then when people you normally ask me, what do? I take a long pause, and I'm like, where do I start?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Oh, and then they say, oh, for money. I'm like, oh, well, I do this stupid job. And they're like, that's not stupid. It's really cool. I'm like, I'd rather be doing my passions, kind of thing. I need to do my job to make money for my passions, right?
Yeah. But if you, well, I'd say having some sort of thing that you have to do to fuel your passions will make your passion stronger. Because if you're only doing your passion and nothing else, you'll find yourself
Absolutely.
drained.
Like
Maybe.
it's like you said, it's about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As The Rock said, it's about drive. It's about power.
Cool. I've never heard that before.
Have you not heard the new? Yeah, never mind.
No, never. That's cool. Is that a used
It's just one of the. It's just a new song. Well, not even new, but The Rock had a verse in it, and it went quite well known. But I'm not gonna repeat.
That's good.
Well, nothing gets your motivation up like Dwayne The Rock Johnson. So.
Yeah. If anyone's a motivated person, it's him.
Like expecting something of value, and I'm like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Never.
Guys, also, you're all boring if you don't like anything.
I like The Rock, actually.
You're really coming for us here. I'm like, oh, well, sorry. I'm a horrible person. It's fine.
Not at all. Just getting to know you.
Yes, I'm sorry for that. That you're even doing it. I'm already sorry.
No, it's actually you're really quite fun. I didn't know what to expect, but this is great. This is
Yeah.
Didn't know what to expect. This is not it.
No, this is great. My face is like, if I'm smiling, it's starting to feel the muscles get activated.
That makes me happy too. Yay! I like
Right
it.
on.
Wow.
Do we have?
Where to go from here?
I got a question.
What's your question? Shoot.
I saw that on your Instagram that you hit up IMAX there. Wow, that was pretty awesome to put down your style in such a grand space.
Thanks.
That's what I really wanted to see. I have a plan for IMAX project in a park over here in Canada, but we'll see what happens. What's in your head and what gets built is totally different. But that's what I want to see. I like seeing smaller, condensed, flowier, and then something really explosive. And good on you. That's awesome.
Thanks. Yeah, IMAX is definitely a difficult spot to tackle, especially if you're not as confident in massive jumps. But I'm one of those ones where I was like, well, it is like I haven't done the main jump yet, but the level one, like the second one that's a little smaller, right. I've managed to do from like Kong stride kind of, but yeah, it was definitely one of those ones where it was like, don't know how, like I'd seen George Monroe do it before, but like it's one of those ones like I haven't seen anyone kind of similar to me do it, so I don't know if I can do it. But yeah, well, you gotta try.
No doubt.
I'm definitely I haven't been to IMAX in a while because I moved all the way to Sheffield, which is like 3.5, 4 hours from London now. But definitely want to go back. The big jump is definitely on my list if my ankles can take it, which they probably can't, but it's fine.
Yeah, they probably can. You're still young.
Yeah. Well, if I break them, they can just heal up, and then I'll just carry on.
Get stronger, right? Once you break something, it heals back stronger.
I mean, my wrist does not follow that that blueprint, but sure.
Yeah, that's
Also,
true.
you
Unless it's a
gotta-
ligament or tendon.
Well, wait. I
You
feel
got
like
a
2 questions.
you got a banged up wrist?
Yeah, well, I broke my wrist in August, like very last day of August last year, and even now it's like, ow, it hurts.
Really?
Yeah.
Because your bars were really good, I guess, up until then. I was watching you.
Yeah, so I only managed to get back on bars like kind of early this year, I guess. But it's like fine now, but it does ache quite a lot, like just from random things. Like it still hasn't got its full range of motion back, but like I'm trying to get there. But I think it's one of those ones where it's just gonna be like pretty weak for quite a while. But it's not like stopping me from anything. It's just like when I am training, sometimes it's like, hold on, guys, my wrist is like isn't enjoying this, but I still can keep going. It's just a bit annoying.
So saying that, do you do warm ups? Because I know like we train with this one guy Jesse, and he just walks into it and walks out of it. He doesn't do a warm up or nothing. He just goes in there dry, and he does it for like 40 minutes, and then he's gone. Like he just does parkour in little spurts. So do you warm up too? You like?
Yeah, I usually warm up, but like most of my warm up is just doing parkour, but lightly.
I know.
More intense. So like I'll just start with some like small jumps. Usually I just start with some standing positions and then just plyos and stuff. I like to like warm up my wrists a bit, just like shaking them around and things. And ankle raises, I always warm up my ankles because they're quite weak. Yeah, I'll always go on the side of a block and like do like one-legged ankle raises on both legs, just to try and stop that thing. But you know, it strikes without warning, as the Motus t-shirt says. Is my accent too?
No. I'm right. No,
Oh.
sorry. That has nothing to do. I was making fun. When I do that, that's my own thing of like trying to like play along and end a sentence. Has nothing to do with your accent. It's a stupid Canadian thing. That's what it is.
Usually people get annoyed at me for my accent because
fuck no.
Does make me mumble quite a lot.
How are our accents? Do we mumble or are we like cut off words?
You're fine. I can understand you.
Can I say a couple of times in a row? Eh? Good coffee, eh? Got some maple syrup, eh?
You want some tea and crumpets?
There you go. Right.
There you go.
Tom, do you got a question?
So many. I don't even know where to start here. Are you able, like, do you train with the other Motus people? Are they around you, or I know that team's kind of spread out, so.
Yes, the team's kind of spread out. When I lived back with my parents, I could kind of go to London in the day. It was quite a trek, but so I did see like Marks quite a bit and a bit of Keelan when he came up. But now that I've moved to Sheffield, I haven't seen any of them in ages because I'm just in the middle of nowhere. I've seen Camilla and Travis probably the most recently, and Camilla lives in a different country.
Yeah.
Because I was with Camilla in Germany, and then I came back from Germany, and then went back out to see Camilla in Lisbon. So it was like probably seen Camilla and Travis the most, because Travis is always traveling around. He likes to stop by, but I was with him in Germany as well. So it's like we're everywhere but
I love it.
English. When I see
Yeah.
the others, it's usually not in English.
That's so funny. Weird.
It's crazy.
Everyone's
Crazy
so
stuff.
close there, but still so far.
Yeah, like I don't even know who the closest is to me at the moment. Because Robbie's in Scotland, which I think is like a 4-hour drive from where I am, and then Giles and Keelan are in like Sevenoaks area, which is also a 4-hour drive from where I am. And then if I wanted to go and see like Max, who lives in Bournemouth, that's probably like 4.5 hours away.
Wow.
I'm just in the middle of nowhere at the moment. It's great fun.
Distractions. Yeah, that's great.
So I guess since joining Motus, like your training hasn't changed much then? You're not training with that team or
I'd like
very
to
much?
train with them more, but yeah, it's just getting together is quite difficult. Just because we live so far away. Even when I lived with my parents, it was a good like 2.5 hour drive down to Giles and where the workshop is.
Yeah.
I like to train them more, but when I was moving out, I was like looking at different options. Obviously, like to move closer to like the HQ would be nice. It's like kind of the London area maybe, but it was just so expensive when it came to like
I can only imagine.
survival. And when it came to like working a job as well, because I wouldn't be able to get by just on like the small amount I make from parkour very irregularly. I had a job like almost guaranteed in Sheffield, working at the gym here, and I'm so happy I moved here because my job's great and like the people here like I'd say like the people here are some of like my best friends. Even before I moved here, I knew them all so well, so it just made sense for me to move
Cool.
up here.
Yeah.
But I hope I get to do more stuff with Motus in the future. We did film a big project back in the summer that's currently being edited, so I'm excited to see
Oh,
like that.
wicked. I was actually just going to ask if there's any upcoming Motus projects.
We've got a
Right on.
big video coming. It's going to be basically the concept of the video is we travel from John O'Groats, which is the highest part of the UK in Scotland, the very, very top, all the way down to Land's End, which is the lowest part of England, and like Cornwall. The drive itself, I feel like I think it's like 12 hours. The drive, if you drive to from one end to the other. Don't quote me on that because I feel like I might be like being really stupid and it could just be like 24 hours and I'm just like saying a stupid number. It might be that. I'm not sure. But either way, we did it over like the course of about 2 weeks. We just traveled around and it's not all training. We did some cool like hikes around the top of Scotland as well, but it's like that's the concept. I think I'm definitely allowed to say that. I don't think I'm giving any spoilers away here. Just hope that this doesn't get posted and I get a message from Giles like, why did you ruin it? Oh my gosh. But he would never be like that.
You didn't drop any dates or tell us anything really juicy, so no, you didn't tell us, so that's good.
I thought you said can I was like
no, shit, no, I want to ask.
No. Other than what happened there.
No.
But I'm not in it a huge amount because the whole of like the first week, I was like, I got my period on the first day and we were like camping in the complete wilderness and I was just so grumpy the whole week. And I was like, yeah, so I also don't like cameras that much as well. They stress me out. So in that thing, I was like, guys, leave me alone.
Yeah, I know.
Then it came to training, and I was just like, I can't. I feel like death. So I'm gonna go sit in the car, cry a bit, and I'll see you guys.
Well, yeah. What's wrong with her? Why is she in the car crying?
Yeah, I was the only girl on the whole tour, so it was.
I know.
It's so difficult to.
It is. I hear you. I really do.
Sam, bless him, tried to help, but the others were bloody useless.
Yeah. It's a difficult subject. It doesn't matter who you're around, but
Yeah, it
okay.
was just one of those ones. Like, I feel like people, I don't remember that much because I have a really bad memory. I can't like I remember, but I also don't. You know, like, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what I've actually done that's in the film, and I can't really remember like anything. Like, there's like one clip of me that like comes to mind, which I'm excited about, for sure. That I've been saving, but like I can't really remember what else I did, to be honest. So I guess the most you're gonna get of me is my really bad freestyle rapping in the car. So
Oh, awesome.
Looking forward to it.
it's definitely a rough start there.
That's hilarious.
So
Is that
you
something you do on the side? Is a rap?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I was always in the car with Sam and Max for most of it. We kind of switched it up a bit, but I mostly stayed in Sam's car.
Yeah.
And the first day, the drive from mine to where we were staying was like 9 hours, I think. So me and Sam shared the driving for that. But their way of passing the time was putting on like freestyle beats and just going for it. And I'd never even tried this in my tried freestyle rap in my life. And we should have kept it that way. That's all I'm saying. I can't stop. Like,
That's
I'd
cool.
say towards the end of it though, I actually got half decent. Like not half decent, still like absolutely awful, but not as bad as what you're gonna see in the film from when I first started. There's no footage. There's no footage at the end of the road trip. The only footage that they have of me trying is like the first time. So it's bad. But you know,
We'll check it out when it comes out, and then I'll message you and see how you feel about it.
This is where I find out that they edited it all out, and I'm like, oh well,
Yep.
sorry guys, sorry to disappoint. I'm no embarrassment for me today.
They'll give you your own feature, probably.
Yeah, I hope so.
There
They'll
you go.
have to now.
Yeah, most of the footage of me is when I'm actually asleep. So, like,
Nah.
there's so much footage of like Sam and Max just like rapping in the car, and I'm just on the back
Passed
seat,
out.
passed
Yeah.
out, asleep. You know, oh well. You know, they can't embarrass me if I don't think it's embarrassing. Yeah, that's
That's right.
yeah. We've gone so off like topic, but like not.
No,
Anyway,
not at all.
There's no topic to hold to here.
there is
Not at
no
all. I go to spots with these guys, and I'm the only chick on the road, and I'll drive in my own car for my own reasons. Tom's knows, and I'll pick up hitchhikers, and I'll do all this crazy stuff, and then they'll be like, "What?" And I'm like, "I'll rent a hotel room," and they're like, "Why? We're just sleeping at the gym." I'm like, "Oh well, I'm a lady, like." I need to take care of some stuff, kind of thing, right? It's just not this. So like, I totally, that whole trip, I kind of feel you out on that thing too, right? So yeah, no, it's good. I think it has to be said. Actually, to tell you the truth, I think you're the second female on the program.
What on Motus?
No, on our CubeCast.
I
Yeah, I guess second, yeah.
I was like confused.
Second,
Yeah.
Yeah. Amy Harford.
Amy on
Harford.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was
she's
awesome.
Great.
Isn't she good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like this is great because some things like, for instance, Amy, some things we as other people wouldn't understand certain things that she goes through in parkour, just as well as your team doesn't know what you go through in parkour neither. So that's why we have this podcast, so we can get these voices out there, right? You know what I mean? Like,
pretty good just to talk about it and
right. So it's not your average cast about like yeah, so what's your longest plyo, kind of thing, right?
What's
By the way,
what's your longest plyo?
What is your longest plyo? Yeah.
How could they give a rap, bro? The most
Right, like I mean,
question, like
it's not just digits at this point. It's a family, right? Parkour family. We say that at all jams. That's what it is. We're trying to bring, narrowing that gap between the family members. That's why we have a cast. So welcome to the family.
Yay, I'm part of the family. Yay! I feel so special.
You
Has
are.
that been ever like a major issue for you at jams with just being the
Mm.
only girl and like just
Um,
too many, especially younger guys around?
It's never like really like it's never got to the point where it's like that bad of an issue like at a jam. Like sometimes it's just kind of awkward because like you know when like someone comes and talks to you, just like okay. I've had like some issues with people showing up like at my old gym. Some random person who like messaged me on Instagram showed up and like kind of followed me around the gym, and I was like, okay, I'm going
Oh
home.
no.
It's a bit weird.
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
sorry
just
about
messaged
that.
me online and then just kind of showed up and were just like I don't know, like I recognized someone like their name when they said it, and then I checked it and it was a bit like it was when this sounds right. It was when I was like 16, and then it's like I'd just been like started out training, and I remember them messaging me like, oh yeah, you train, right? And I was like, they messaged me asking, oh, where'd you train? And me being an idiot was like, yeah, this is the gym that I train at. It's really good. You should check it out. Thinking I'll do some promotion, and they actually showed up and went like leave, and then the message that stuck in my mind was, wow, how are you so gorgeous? You're like, I'm 18 and you're only 16, but you're so pretty, which is like alarm bells ringing.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like even when I was 16, I was like, alarm bells ringing.
Mhm,
Nina.
mhm.
That's just the weirdest thing, but yeah, just for them to show up and then like kind of like follow me around the gym. I was just training. Like, but every time I moved to train something else, they were training. I was like, go away. Which doesn't really happen anymore. Like, I think I'm yeah. I think I'm scarier now.
Scarier.
Yeah, I'm definitely like,
There's creeps everywhere,
yeah,
and it's a good thing that you had those red flags come to you when they did, because it could have been a different situation if you didn't
yeah.
have that.
I am more careful with it now, but I guess it's like now I have more of a audience, I'd say, on like Instagram and stuff. There's more chance of that stuff happening, and stuff,
Mhm.
especially since I'm so open with the fact of like where I train and where I
Mhm.
work, because it's like
Mhm.
a big part
Right.
of my like profile online.
Yes.
So I have to be aware of that quite a lot. But I'd say like for the most part, it's fine. Yeah. And then at jams, like the original question, like being the only girl can be kind of just. I wouldn't say the issue of it like is usually the guys. I just get bored sometimes. Like if I'm the only girl, I just find it quite boring. Like I'm trying to find people to train with, and then
Yeah.
they're all bonding over one massive concrete. I'm like, right, okay. What can I do? And it's like it's just nice to train with people that you kind of connect with a little bit better. Obviously, I love training with all the guys and stuff. Like hanging out is great, but when it comes to like actual training, like challenges, it's like. And now that I'm high, like I would say, like I've definitely improved in my level. Like I can join in a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just say like the main issue was like being the only girl at jams, finding it kind of boring. But it's still fun. Like I'm still like enjoying it because I love parkour and stuff, and all the people are nice. But you know.
That's pretty crucial though to have someone that's around your same like skill level, working on similar things as you it'll help you progress more.
Oh, absolutely. Like 90% of the reason I moved here was because me and Elise work so well together. It's like the perfect like training mix. She's quite busy with school at the moment, so I haven't like trained with her that much, but she like we hang out a lot and stuff, and it's really nice. And like because she's better at flips than me, like she helps me with flips, and then because I'm a little bit farther with jumps, like I help her with that, and it's like a good mix of helpfulness, I guess. And like it's not just parkour that we like connect on as well. It's like style and other interests as well, which I think is really important. Like because obviously like just meeting other people that train is nice, but meeting other people that train and then they have all these other interests. So like even if they didn't have parkour, you'd still be their friend, you know, like because they're just cool people. And then yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
I really like that.
Yay, me too.
No, like I said before, like your journey sounds a lot like mine in parkour, and I have certain people in our community that specifically the exact same thing. These guys are doing these huge jumps, and where am I? Because I'm older, and I'm thinking about making it home, not just the jump kind of thing, right? So I have to think about my placement and everything else, and I kind of, when they're doing their own thing, I actually kind of feel good and lost at the same time that I'm doing my thing, because like, yeah, it's not I wish I could do that. I'm 10 years older than most of them, but then like when I get a line down and I put my own thing, I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is really good. Like, I kind of needed to be pushed away to do the really good stuff. You know what I mean? So I see that's when you're talking just then, I see that was coming through as well when you were training too. Like, you can see what they can do, but you gotta see what you can do as well too, right? Not just line up and do the biggest banger, right?
Yeah, like I did post about it on my story recently. When I was in Sweden at the Air Whip Jam, which was actually so much fun. It was great.
No doubt. Cool.
I was just like observing as I do, and I'd seen like the guys were like playing around with this like 180 kind of setup. So there's like a wall in the middle of the wall, doing like different things. And it was one of those ones where I was like kind of watching, and I was like thinking in the back of my head, can I do that? Can I not? I don't know. But I was watching like Kevin and Lester. They were doing it like really easily. Like they kept get to the top, and then they're like, oh, easy, just 180 back, easy, done. But I on the last day I was like, right, I wanna give this a go because I've seen these guys doing it so easily. And not only was it like such a mental challenge, I was so exhausted from the past 2 days as well. I hadn't eaten anything that morning as well because I'm stupid. All I'd had was like an energy drink, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea.
No,
I was trying to get this 180, and I managed to get the first one up to the cat leap, but I was too scared to do the one back, and I was getting like really frustrated. I was like, I can't commit to it. Like, what am I gonna do? And then I got really grumpy, and then Kevin's like, right, we're gonna put a mat over it, yeah. And then you're just gonna do it like this. And then he just gets up, like this sounds like I'm dissing Kevin. I'm not. But he gets up and he's like, yeah, just make sure you lift your foot up high, and he's like kind of demonstrating, which is like really fucking helpful. So I really appreciate him for doing it. But then he just goes and he goes, yeah, and you just lift up and then turn, and he just does it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, easy for you to say.
I needed that demonstration as well because he was right about the technique, but it was so annoying. I was like, you did it so easy. But we put the mat on. We put the mat on, and I was like prepping it. I was like going to the mat on the wall, and it was fine. And then we took the mat off, and then I started doing it. I started bouncing it, and then I got the 180 back just from the cat leap. Then I tried from the lower wall to the 180 to cat leap, and then tried to do the 180 back to pre. And then I tried it maybe like 20 times. Every time I was bouncing it, I was putting my full power in, and every time bounce, like every single time. And I was getting so like I was tired of it, but I was so upset, upset because it was like I was putting my full effort in and still bouncing it, and I got really like into my head about it. I was like, it got to the point where I was thinking like, if I was just a dude, like this would be so easy because my legs would be just like I would just be able to do it so much easier. And it was like it was the worst headspace to be in. Like it got to one point where I like bounced it and I just dropped down. I just went into a full strop, started like crying, just walked out. And then Lester, who was filming found it absolutely hilarious. He was just laughing, and then he was like, "Oh, wait, what?" Because he was just laughing at me bouncing it, getting really annoyed. But then I just walked off. I was like, screw this. I went out, drunk more Nocco, came back. I was like, right, I'm doing it. I eventually got it. I got the 180, but even after I got it, I was like, why did that take so long? I didn't even celebrate when I got it. I was like, right, bye, I'm out.
Yeah, right. So you get rewarded by doing it, and then you don't even get pleasure out of it because you're like, if I just had testosterone, this would be way easier.
Yeah, I know, and it's the worst headspace to be in because
it is.
Like I obviously now I'm so glad that I got it because I was watching it afterwards. I was like, okay, it does look really cool. Okay, but at the time I was just so annoyed that it took me this long to get it. Especially because like all the guys who were doing it so easy were watching me trying to get it, and I was just like, I'm just gonna be grumpy instead. I think I was just tired, but I got so grumpy over it. But hey ho, I'm a little drama queen. What can I say?
I believe in training on an empty stomach. I fast usually for 16 hours a day, so I think you get the real good and training out of not eating and having discipline
Yeah,
to go
I'm
hard,
you
even
don't like
though there's no
when I'm
fuel.
like food. I just feel sick.
Yeah. Some people do because what you're doing is that you're putting too much demand on your blood. So instead of digesting food, it's going to the muscles where it needs it the most right now. So it ejects what you can't retain. So a lot of people get sick because of that. So a lot of bodybuilders would be like, work out till you get sick. Well, they just eat before they go and then they get sick.
Don't work harder, work smarter.
I love that. I apply that to my life. See, I see a lot of likes in between us.
Yeah. We're both
Yeah.
we're just both really cool. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you should really get your hair dreadlocked, and I should really go red / crimson.
My mum would always like, because when I was little, my hair like it was so long, it was so difficult to brush, but there was like this one bit under my hair that just completely like matted because like it like turned into like a little dreadlock because my mum just get her hairbrush through it, and then like every time I remember every time I put my hair up, it was just this lump here, and I was like, I can't get it out. It wasn't until I got lice, right, and then combed completely through. I was like maybe like 10, I don't know. Wait, no, I wasn't. I was a bit older actually. I can't remember. It wasn't until I got lice and I had to comb it through that they actually got this like massive knot out. And I remember it so vividly. My mom's probably gonna listen to this podcast. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I wonder do you remember that I had that massive knot in the back of my head? Anyway,
she'll be like, it wasn't when you were 10. It was when you were 15.
To be I wasn't 15. I don't know. Like, cannot remember. Can't tell you. My hair's been through a journey since then, to say the least.
And it continues.
Yeah, and it continues. I'm probably gonna dye my hair tomorrow. So.
Nice. What color are you looking at?
On my things to do tomorrow.
So it's a day of rest for you tomorrow.
Yeah, well, never a day's rest for my hair. It that's for sure. It's not getting fried. It's getting hacked at. Like.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll just go with the flow, innit?
I said if I ever grew my hair out, I would do a nice shag, like a beaver shag.
Yeah. I kind of went for the shaggy kind of haircut, but it's just hacked out with the scissors. That's fine. You make it work. You make it work.
Yeah, it does work.
Thanks. Yours looks great too.
Oh, this old thing.
It looks sick.
Thanks. Let's get back to parkour for a bit.
Yeah, that's so sick. You'll get that with me. You're like, Rachel.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, I'm like, yeah, cool. I can talk about it forever. But parkour.
No, I know. Yeah. Most athletes we do have on this program just want to talk about parkour forever, and it's how relative it is to life in general, and to what we were talking about. It's actually quite a lucky thing to have podcasting nowadays, that you can reach out to other people. No, it's really cool.
Yeah, you're doing as well.
So I have a question, like, it's one of my favorite questions. It's like, if you were to put down a move into a line, what is your go-to move? Like, I know I have a handful of moves that I commonly put down, and sometimes it's a cartwheel, just because it's like time to catch space, or it grasps your breath or whatever, and it looks cool because you're dropping off of something, whatever, right? So what would be your favorite move when you put in a line?
I'm trying to think now, because like most of my lines I'd say are like quite parkour based almost at the moment. But like a parkour move that I like really, I love a good dive kong. Like I really love a good dive kong. Even with my wrist, just hate me. I do love a good dive kong. And when it comes to like flips, I I mean, aerials is probably my easiest go-to, but I try not to just do aerials now, just because, like, not because of the sure she could do an aerial thing. It's because I actually want to try and like do more things. So I'd say like I have this one move that I really enjoy, which is like I don't even know what it's called. It's almost like a reverse vault, but like over the top. So I put my left hand down and like just kind of A twist it. It's like a touchdown A twist of my left, which I really like that move.
Cool.
Let's try and use that one a bit more. But yeah,
that's a cool looking move.
when it comes to go-tos, I just try and switch it up most of the time. So I'm not like always doing the same thing. But then again, a dive Kong, you can always get me with a good dive Kong.
Totally.
I just love it. I literally feel like I'm flying. Great.
It's a solid move.
Yeah. Next point. I don't know. I always feel so awkward. I stop talking to my.
No, it's fine. There's a lot of breaks. You got one there, Tom?
Yeah, actually, I was looking at some stuff on like Motus pages earlier and saw that you play music. Is that right?
Oh, what? You're looking at the website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play bass a bit. And I used to be quite into music, but since I've moved out, I haven't brought any I haven't got my bass with me or anything like that. But it's definitely something that like I would like to pursue more, but I don't really have the time at the moment, just because I'm doing so much up here.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like a passion that's probably going to be like it's still there, but it'll probably be picked up a bit later in life when I'm less active, maybe.
Yeah. Do you incorporate music into like your training? Like, do you always have headphones on when you're training? Or not really?
I'm one of those ones I just don't like training in headphones. I really like speakers.
Me too.
But when I have headphones in, like when I had headphones in, I broke my hand, and then never again did I train with headphones in, because I was like, I feel like it just zones you out too much personally. Also like I can just feel them in my ears and stuff, and it's just like I don't know. I do like training with music though. I use music a lot in my Instagram posts. Like when I make reels and stuff, most of my posts are always quite long. And I just try and use them to reflect like my day and also like my mood at the time. Like I use a song that I'm like into at the time. So when I look back on it, I can go, oh yeah, like I'll look at like my post from Frankfurt and I'll go, oh yeah, no, I really like this song at this time, and like it kind of like makes me like relive the moment a bit better, because I'm like, yeah, this was like I remember listening to this song and like vibing in this way. And that's kind of what led to me creating that movement. And I also just include like dumb videos in my edits as well. You'll find a lot of like me and frog hats, I guess. I don't know, but I like to include like just like fun stuff. Oh, fails as well. I always include like my fails and like like
I noticed that.
And the attempts.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where people probably don't watch it. Like it probably like because it pads out the video and people don't have that attention span anymore.
Yeah.
But I always include them just because like I feel like it makes the edit better, but also it's like, hey guys, I'm not perfect. Please don't expect me to be good when you meet me in person, because I will fall on my ass.
Yeah, I said that to one of our athletes. I said, "Oh, I really like that bail you posted." And he's like, "Really? You like that? You like that I fell?" I'm like, "I like that you're human. That you know, I fall too. And to see like someone like you who's all meaty and beefy not make it." And it's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, man, like that's great. Like you should do more bails on your page.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bails are like the unseen side, as well as what it takes to get like the challenge, whatever. So that's why, like when I was mentioning about the 180 thing in Sweden, I posted up a story about it with like kind of what it actually took for me to get it, because another part that really stressed me out was like, even if I do get it, and no one's gonna understand how much effort it took for me to get it. So I did end up posting it and kind of like talked about obviously my experience and like the emotions that I went through and things, just to be like, hey guys, didn't do this first time. This was an absolute nightmare for me, because I'm not perfect. And if you just want to post the clips of you getting in it, that's fine. But I feel like not responsible, but because I do have like a small audience, it's like I don't want them to expect. Yeah, like when I meet them in person as well, I don't want them to expect me to be better than I am, because I'm like, I just show up and fall over, and then sometimes maybe make it. But it just creates a more realistic expectation as well as
for sure.
just showing the progress.
Right.
Being able to take a hit is a big part of parkour as well.
Oh shit! Totally. Rolling with the hits.
Yeah.
Also, do you also fire dance? Do you spin a staff?
Yeah. So I usually in summer I do a bit of fire circus stuff.
Really?
So I just enjoy it. It's like I have a fire staff and some fire poi that this spin. And for my 16th birthday, my present from my dad was a fire staff and a gallon of paraffin. So a bit out of the ordinary.
Thanks, Dad.
I did mention that I wanted it, but it's great fun. Like I do like to practice when I can, but just making up routines of my fire stuff and like throwing it in the air, like catching it in like various ways and stuff. I did do one where I like threw it up, tried to spin around to catch it, but then slapped myself in the face with it like really hard. So that wasn't fun. But
yeah, that's how you learn. Yeah.
Fire breathing as well is quite scary.
I noticed that. Yeah, that's cool.
Super fun. Super fun. You just gotta. I guess it gets less scary as you go, but every time you do it for the first time in a while, you're like, whew, okay. It's just one of those ones. It's a cool party trick.
Cool. You know, we'll talk about that off camera because I spin poi myself too. I do this one called a meteor hammer. It's like string dart, but at the end of the string there's a ball on fire, and I do the neck wrap and all the cool stuff like that. But I mean, I've always wanted to do fire breathing. That'd be a nice ender to the show.
It gets the audience. It gets the audience involved, like enticed for sure.
Totally.
I had up and just going when we do like a big group like finale. I'll just run like, woo, and then jump up, fire breathe, and just drop down and just run around, run behind. It's fun.
You're such an interesting character, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
I guess getting back to parkour training a little bit here. Do you do anything besides parkour for training? Like, do you cross train with like weightlifting or calisthenics type stuff, or just parkour? And that's
honestly no. I'm meaning to get into it a lot. I know I've got a program now that I've been meaning to start. When I can get like a gym membership and stuff sorted. But at the moment, no, I haven't really done much. I just do jumps and then jumps get bigger, I guess. It's kind of
I'm jealous of that.
how it works. But I definitely intend to get power training so I can jump even further. That makes sense. Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, at least you'll have you could get Mark there to help you out, hey?
Yeah, he's got his plyometric plan, which is
my gosh.
I've got it, but I haven't it's just one of those things where I'm like, I'll get around to it and then never gets around to it.
I have it all printed up here in the Rolodex of other parkour stuff that I printed. That's cool. And it's like, when did I get to it?
Wow.
Very good. So parkour, for the sake of parkour, that's good. That I don't know. I've never been able to like successfully do that. I've always had to like weight train or do some other calisthenics to compensate, I guess.
Me too. I do yoga or some kind of
Oh yeah, yoga. A lot of yoga.
yeah, or some kind of knees over toes training or some kind of rehab, for a
Mhm.
lack of a better word.
I stretch, but that's about it. Like I
Oh,
try
right
to,
on.
yeah, but I've definitely lost quite a lot of flexibility since I've gained strength. It's one of those ones you kind of go,
I think it comes along with it. Yeah,
yeah,
That's
more
very hard
density.
to
more
build both.
height.
But then there's Joji Mufu, who
Yeah.
puts that all. I don't know if you know who Joji Mufu is. He's a tricker back in the day.
Yeah.
Would that be safe? He was a tricker. And he was cool. He was, cool blonde hair guy, whatever. And he'd do all the cool flips with his shirts off. And then he discovered weightlifting. So he turns into this long-haired, beefy guy into weightlifting. And he's still doing these flexibility stuff while holding like 200 pounds over his head while doing splits. And it's like,
Seen the videos I'm doing that.
probably.
Probably.
This guy's a freak.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
the
so
goal.
that's where yeah, that's where off training could lead to. It's a freak show.
So you're coaching now, right? For the last, I guess,
Yeah,
couple of years.
yeah. So I started off as a gymnastics coach when I was 14, and then I did that until I was about 17, and then moved to another gym where I did like this ninja thing, as well as gymnastics. But the ninja was like secretly parkour, but it wasn't. And then the people who were running
Yeah.
it didn't know that much about parkour, so they called everything weird names that didn't make sense. And they had
Yeah.
like a way of like teaching it, which I didn't really like, but just kind of got on with it. And then I quit that around February maybe last year, and then didn't work, just trained and had fun all the way up until October when I accepted the job up here, and then moved all the way to Sheffield to work at Nova City. And honestly, I love it. Like I'm finally getting to teach proper parkour and not just because the parkour I taught before that was ninja was all on soft blocks, like all soft blocks. There was no like rails or anything, like nothing like that. It was all soft play. Whereas now I'm like, right, we've got some wooden boxes. Nice. So yeah, I'm really enjoying teaching proper parkour. So it's fun.
Has that changed how you train then? Like, has having to explain things to kids made you change your training at all? Like your approach to things?
Not really, because I usually coach in the same way that I train myself. Like I don't have a coach when I'm training. So again, that's what most people do. They kind of coach themselves almost. They like take advice from other people, but usually when you're trying something, you go, oh, okay, I feel like I need to do this. But also like when my students are like too scared to do something, and then like the way I talk them through it is like by working up to stuff the same way that I would in my own training. Because I feel like as well, like I don't want to feel like a hypocrite when I'm coaching and I'm like, just do it. It's not difficult. Like I understand like when stuff is scary.
Yeah.
I get scared as well. So I try to be as like sympathetic with it as I can, especially when coaching simple skills, and they're struggling to get it. Like I feel like what I'm good at is like being quite patient and not being too patronizing either. Because what kind of annoyed me when I'm like learning something is when someone's quite patronizing about it. But like, yeah, like you probably will struggle with this, but you're gonna do this, and it's like that's just not necessary, Like I feel like just especially when you're teaching kids just something simple and they're not getting it, you just got to be patient with them and let them work on it. Because if you get annoyed at them, they're not going to enjoy it. Everyone starts somewhere. Like
it can be so difficult too because you are teaching skills, but at the same time you're almost teaching a mindset.
Yeah, sure. And with my coaching as well, I find myself teaching some like normal ethical values in my classes.
Yeah.
sometimes
That's what I did too. Yeah.
they're a bit like they say something that is just unacceptable, and I might have to stop the class and explain why that's just not a thing that you should say or ever. So it's someone's like, I'm teaching parkour, but I'm also teaching this mindset, the way that they should be like acting as well, like the way they can be respectful and things like that. Like I remember to be honest, when I first started coaching there, with one of the older classes, I was like, right, so I'm going to be a coach, and the first thing they said was, why have you got a female coach? They're like, why have you got a woman coach? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, well, parkour's for boys. I'm like, goodness sake.
Oh no.
So the first thing I did with them that lesson was like, right, so have any of you heard of a climb up? And none of them, not a single one of them, could do a climb up. And being absolutely horrible that I am, I was like, right, so you're all really strong guys, yeah? Right, so we're gonna do a climb up. It looks like this. Does a climb up quite easy. You climb on top. I'm like, right. Obviously, I talk them through it and stuff. Then I get them trying it, and they're like, this is so difficult. I'm not strong enough. And I'm like, well, would you look at that?
Yeah, exactly.
See, like I do. They like some of them got their climb up, so we worked on it. But it was definitely like a realization moment for them as well. Like women aren't just weak, kind of thing. Like lots of them kind of had the idea that parkour is a boys' sport, even just because they never had a female coach either. So it's really nice working with them on that as well, because it's kind of changing a lot of their perspectives of women as they're growing up. So quite young, but I do hear some things like sometimes in my classes, and I'm like, right, we're gonna work on this. That honestly, all of the students that I have are like, they're all great, and they all respect me a lot now. It definitely took some getting to them, but they're the greatest kids, and it's really nice to like share and spread my passion for parkour with them, and like to see them progress is also really cool.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite part.
That's awesome.
I really like your take on that.
It was good maybe that happened with them earlier, like near the start of their training, because anyone doing parkour long enough is going to have an ego check at some point, right? Like you might think you're doing real good, but that's gonna that's gonna stop at some point.
Yeah,
it will.
Girls in my class now, because I had a couple of them join, and then like some of the boys were making fun of them, like saying like, why are there girls in the class? This is for boys. That's like usually their go-to statement. But like I was like saying, like with some like of the kids as well, like you have to like, it sounds unprofessional, but you do have to take the mic, like to seem it's quite a difficult one to explain. So obviously there's like, you shouldn't make fun of like the kids as well, but it's a good way to teach them discipline as well. Is like, so like when some of mine got into an argument, they're like, guys, this is a parkour lesson, not a display of your toxic masculinity, kind of thing. Just like taking the mick out of them a little bit, just to like, because if I just told them off, like and shouted, it won't go through. Whereas if I made like a subtle like jokey remark of like, guys, you're being stupid, kind of thing, it will like it. I feel like they process it a lot better. So like when the girls were like in my class, and then some of them were like making fun of them because the girls are doing better than them, I just say to the girls in front of the boys as well, I'm like, sorry girls, the guys just don't know how to react when a girl's better at them at parkour. We'll get there someday. Like, just because they'll listen to that and they'll go, but it gets across them a lot better than just, oh my gosh, can you stop that? Like, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I find it's just a better technique just to get the kids to kind of clock on. And especially I talk to them as well. I was like, you can't be annoyed that they're better than you. Like, just go ask them for help. Like, you can see that they're doing this move better than you, right? That shouldn't annoy you just because they're a girl. Go ask them for help. Like, go ask them for some tips. And then I literally will tell them, go ask them for some tips. Now, let's go over. You can do it. You can't. Go ask for some tips. And then it gets them like talking to them as well. So it's not like this whole divide where they can actually train together, which is it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to work on it.
Obviously, you're in the right placement for the right job.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
crucial.
Yeah, it's a very rewarding job in like very different fronts. But just like tackling that kind of mindset from when they're younger, because like in the parkour community, like today, like I can see like some of the people who could have done with that when they were younger. They don't know how to handle when a girl's better than them at something, and they get quite snarky about it. Like I've had it before. It's like almost used as like an insult to me when I'm good at something. They're like, oh well, like even if I do well in like online, I'm like, oh, it's only because you're a girl though. And then when I'm good at something better at something that's like a physical challenge, I like get annoyed about it. And I've noticed it a fair few times now. Like I'll complete a challenge before a guy, and they just don't bother doing the challenge because they're like, well, I'm not gonna do it now, kind of thing. Like, they just give up on the challenge because they feel like it will be embarrassing to then struggle with the challenge when I've already done it. Or I'll complete the challenge and then they finally do it, like they finally send it because they're like, oh well, Rachel's done it. That's embarrassing if I haven't. So that was a huge thing when I started parkour. It was like I'd finally do something and I'm proud of it, and then someone would be like, mate, just do it. Rachel's done it. You can't like Rachel have done it and you haven't. And I'm just like, huh? What did I do to just this? But
Shit.
Yeah, that's a big problem, I think.
yeah,
Well, especially with the young guys, the ego
the ego. It's
gets in
always
the way. You're kind of told a certain thing. You have to be, faster or stronger or something, but it's just ego.
yeah, like they think that they need to be faster and stronger than the girl, and they just don't understand when they're not. And it's kind of one of those things I just want to make it normalized that it's not a bad thing for a woman to be better at you at something, to be stronger than you. It's just not, because even though like statistically men might be stronger, that's just like the average.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're not.
You're right.
It doesn't matter if the challenge for you is a challenge for me, kind of thing. It doesn't matter if we're working on the same thing. It's just we're just there to train,
Yeah.
We're there to do the same thing. Both there to do jumps.
People focus on the wrong factors there. It doesn't matter. It's there's like so much, even like when with younger kids too, questioning like, why is this person better than me, or like, why am I worse? It's like, well, they've been training this for 6 months already. You just started. That's just how things are.
Yeah, like it applies to everything, not even just when a woman does it. When anyone's better than you, sometimes it can be like, how can they do this so easy? And it's like, just focus on yourself. Obviously you can have people to aspire to, but you'll never know how easy or difficult something is for them.
Yeah.
Because you're them, you got to focus on yourself and focus on your own battles, but still appreciate when other people achieve things. But focus on yourself. Try not to compare yourself too much.
Shit, well said.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. I was hanging on to every word that you were saying.
Getting deep here.
Like,
No, it was really cool. No, it was really cool because that's an aspect that a lot of people wouldn't see coming through like a feminine point of view, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've experienced some of that, not quite to that extreme, but I've been called certain things, but I still show up to the next jam, and people may not really care or like at that point, but I still go out of my way because this is my family. Sure, I might have a fight with my brother and my family, but we're still family. Like, we still show up the same jam. Like, sure, yeah, last time I got mad at you for something, but let's get over it. Let's train, kind of thing, right? And usually that comes through. Usually. But I've trained with I trained with newcomers and people that have been in the community for a while, and it's just a little bit of whatever at that time, and then you move on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Ethics or whatever, or just a different point of view, because it is mostly, I hate to say it, but parkour is male dominated, but women are rising up, and it's maybe just making, the typical scene feel uncomfortable if no one's been there before to make it uncomfortable,
yeah. I know it was a big thing, not a big thing, but like the boys sometimes feel like this is their like guy friends. They want to hang out with the boys and they want to hang out with the boys and jump on walls. They don't want a girl there, kind of thing. So it's like if the boys go out every Sunday and play football, and then one of them just starts bringing their girlfriend's joining in, they're gonna like be like, "Whoa, this is the boys' day," kind of
Get
thing.
it.
Whereas like something with parkour, if like boys just kind of, it's just because it's been that way for so long. It's kind of just like they see it as like the boys hanging out. Whereas, so when a girl shows up, it can almost feel like intimidating, or not intimidating, but like it feels like the vibe has been ruined. But what vibe has really been ruined? Because like they're like, oh yeah, we just can't talk like we would before, and I'm like, why not? And they're like, yeah, because there's a girl there, and I'm like, well, whatever you were saying before can't have been good if you can't say it in front of a girl.
Wow.
Bullshit. So
Yeah.
Just
if you're changing the way you speak that much just because there's a girl present, there's clearly a problem. Like there's clearly something wrong.
For sure.
Like,
That's so good.
Then it's probably misogynistic or stupid. Like I don't care. Like if they're like, yeah, but it's just boy stuff in it. I'm like, what? You're just gonna complain that you hit your balls on a wall or something?
That's about it. Yeah, exactly.
That I don't care. But they'll be like,
it hurts. Yeah, whatever.
Stuff they can't say in front of me is just like inappropriate stuff about women. So if that's such a big topic of conversation when you're hanging out with the boys, I don't think you should be hanging out with the boys, mate. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real though. Plus, it's limiting too. Like, if you're just gonna cut out women from parkour, like everyone, when you're training with people in a group, like everyone will bring their own point of view to something, right? So you're just eliminating another perspective, another.
Yeah, that happens with everything now, like gender, race, everything. Like if you exclude one specific group, dependent on any of these factors, and you're cutting out an entire perspective because everyone goes through different life experiences and things,
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how you become ignorant.
Yeah,
that's right.
Only ever listen to one point of view, and your views are never challenged, then you stay ignorant, and that's a dangerous thing to do.
Holy shit. Are you sure you're 19?
Yeah.
Like, you're so philosophizing here. Like, it's just great. I think that's what you should go into, parkour philosophy.
Yeah. I write a book. Probably like 4 people would read it, and I'm very dyslexic. It would all be spelled wrong.
Tom and I are too, so.
Professor of parkour philosophy.
It would be nice. It would be like the kind of thing that, like, if I had to write an essay, like some essays on it, I'd go for it. But I don't think anyone would read it. Maybe I'll do a little short book of essays, maybe, or like little things about things like that. Rachel the philosopher. There we go.
Why the fuck not? There's no Why? What's stopping you?
Good shout, actually. Yeah, maybe I'll look into it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm glad we started something.
Yes. Hold me to that. I'll like.
No, I'm not that person.
If I haven't done it, you'll be like, Rachel, where's your book? Where's your philosophy? Or like,
next week, the week after, like months later, where's your book? I wish this chick would stop sending me stuff.
Maybe I will look into writing a book. That'd be fun. It would definitely surprise my year 10 English teacher for sure. She'd be like,
no doubt.
You're writing a book. You barely passed English. Actually, I didn't barely pass. I got a B, but in my mock I did basically fail. So I'm surprised.
Well, maybe it was the teacher, not the student.
No, my teacher was good. I was just, I can confidently say it was the student. It took me so like anything. So I felt like if I just spoke, and then someone could type it down,
Yeah.
easy book.
There's an app for that.
Ah, smart. No excuses, Rachel. Write a book now.
So besides book writing, what are your future plans?
So at the moment, my kind of goal for next year is Red Bull Out of Motion.
Yes.
Fuck yeah.
It's definitely an ambitious one because flips aren't really my strong point, but I'm getting there. Like kind of the good part about this job at the moment is that I can use the gym as much as I want. So basically just becoming a gym rat and getting my flips better, because I definitely went more towards parkour. But after going and watching Rebel Out of Motion, I did the on-site qualifiers, but
Nice.
there was no on-site qualifier spots for women, so you know,
That's strange.
didn't qualify. So after I made some salty remark in front of the organisers, like, I can't believe they haven't got any on-site qualifier spots for women. That's a bit sexist, don't you think?
You did say that?
They really loudly in front of some organisers. I was like,
Good for you.
I was saying it to my friend next to me, but just say it really loudly, just so they hear it. You know, I was tempted to. I never did it, but I was saying I'll post some of the clips from my on-site qualifiers and be like, here's my on-site qualifier clips from at Rebel Out of Motion. Shame there's no on-site qualifier spots for women at Red Bull.
Yeah, you know what? If I was in your position, I'd probably do the same. But probably you did a lot subtler than I would have done.
Yeah, I mean, I should. Why did I do that?
No, it's good. I'm glad you did. Someone heard it, and it's gonna
the
fester in
organizer
someone's.
there definitely heard it. It was definitely just some random Red Bull worker, but I hope they gave feedback. But I definitely should have done like an Instagram post and be like, at Red Bull, where's the women's on-site qualifier? We need it.
I'm just gonna edit out this one segment and just send this video portion of this podcast at Red Bull here.
Yeah,
Rachel's rant.
Rachel's rant. But yeah, Rebel Out Motion. We're trying to qualify online, but it's
good.
There's only like 6 spots, and I don't know if I can do that. So we're gonna try.
Right?
I mean, I'm gonna try. There's no harm in trying, and even if I don't qualify, I'm still gonna go and then do the on-site qualifiers anyway for fun, and then it will.
That's probably got to be even maybe a more fun part of it, because then, once you're in the competitions, like cameras are rolling, pressure.
Yeah. It's just the on-site qualifiers. Like, I don't like that competition. Like, anyway, it's so stressful. I literally fainted after my on-sites because it was like 30 degrees. I hadn't eaten because I'm stupid again. And like I've been waiting for so long to like actually go up for my qualifier because I was like number 112 or something, and they did 10 people at a time. But it was like it took so long. But I was so hot, and then afterwards, like I remember being like, they got us to line up at the end, and I was just like, whoa. And then someone said to me, they were like, yo, you're even cooler in person than on Instagram. And I was like, thanks. And I was like literally just like out of it. And I was like, you good? I was like, yeah. And I got just out of the arena, and then I just kind of like blacked out even, and I started pouring water on my head. They're like, are you alive? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just dying. Dehydration, exhaustion, heat stroke probably. I think it was heat stroke, to be honest. Either way, did the on-site for fun. I took a box to the gut because I saw like, I think it was like 3 guys like trying this like jump with like a step up to the box. I saw 3 of them like bounce it, but like this was after like I'd done like the prep, and I looked at the jump and I was like, maybe I could make that. I don't know, it's quite big. And then while I was waiting to go for the final thing, I saw like 3 guys bounce it. I was like, oh, well, maybe it's a bit big then. But then I remember just like with all the adrenaline, just running at it. And then I jumped, and then just my feet didn't get my feet high. My feet slid down straight away, and I just took it to the gut. I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. Kind of went straight back, and I was like, right, again. I did end up making it, but the first time, I think I had that little bit of doubt in my mind from seeing like 3 guys bounce it. So I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Which is stupid because I'm like, did the classic, oh, a guy can't do it, therefore I can't, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
on the contrary, I could do it. Yay.
Cool. That's a wicked story too.
Yeah. But everyone's may take that box to the gut, so that's quite embarrassing, but also.
And you were planning on, like, you want to go to NAPC whenever that kicks back up?
Yes, I've been wanting to do that for ages, but it's just been postponed.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for next year. I just think it'll be fun because I haven't like done a proper women's skill comp yet, like at all. We're planning on for Project Underground, which is at my gym in like not my gym, but the gym I work at in on the 18th of February, so 2022, so quite soon. But I'm not allowed to be involved with any of the planning for it because I want to compete. So Elizabeth's planning on doing it, so she's going to help plan it with Liam and stuff. But that's going to be my first like kind of taste of a women's skill comp. So
have you done skill comps then before?
No, I haven't done any. I don't think. Wait, can I think? Have I? No, I haven't. I've judged some. Like I judged one in Hamburg, and then I judged like a fun one we did in Sweden while I was there. But I did try and do my own. Like I got assigned just a skill challenge just to like judge, and then at the end I was like, I wonder if I can do it. And I didn't get it in the 3 tries that they had, but I eventually did get it, so I could do it. So maybe I could have competed in that skill comp. I should have, but I decided to be a judge instead. I don't know.
So you want to do some style stuff and skill things. How do you feel about speed events?
Yeah, so speed is like a hit or miss with me. If it's a short speed course, I'm there. If it's a long speed course, I'm dead. So I did Red Bull Alan Dulas, which was like a speed incorporated with like a singular flip. So the thing is, it was like a speed because it was like how fast can you do it, but then it was like either side of the course had to do a flip in it as well, and then the person who had did the cooler flip got time reduction. Or like it changed depending on which round it was, but so it was a bit weird. But the course is a bit of a struggle for me because it was like a lot of impact. There was a lot of height drops and stuff. But definitely for the first like half of the course, I was zooming, like I was so fast. But then I don't have much stamina. I have like quite difficulty breathing sometimes. So like halfway through the course, I'm like, I'm dying. So yeah, and then I'm just struggling for the last bit of the course. But I would definitely like to do that event again. So I don't know if they're watching, please invite me back. I want to do it. I want to redeem myself.
Well, I would definitely like to see you compete at NAPC for sure.
Yeah,
no doubt.
I'd love to do that. Probably most likely the skill and the speed. Don't know about style. We'll see about that. At the moment, my style goal is out of motion because it would just be cool just to be like, yeah, I'm competing, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, just getting to that point is incredible.
Yeah, I'm become more well-rounded, if that makes sense. So at the moment, I've got Project Underground where I'm focusing on skill and speed, and then I'll probably do the style just so that there's another woman doing it, but I won't take it too seriously. Focus on skill and speed, and then Rebel Out of Motion after that. So I'll be focusing on just style for a bit, but also like trying to keep skill up and also try not to get injured because that would just ruin everything. But
Injury.
Yeah, that's what happened to Christian. He hurt his back prior to Red Bull. He didn't even like warm up, I don't think, and he just walked in there, and that's the rest of the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, preventable things for injury for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just so scared of injuring myself for like a big event or something. It's like one of my biggest fears. I need to, like, it's one of those ones where it's like, you got to prep so that you're strong enough. You got to practice it so it won't go wrong, but then what if you injure yourself kind of thing. So
all of it, your grip strength, wrist impact, ankle impacts,
yeah.
doing squats, just conditioning in general.
Yeah.
Rachel, how much time do you have? Do you still have, it's going to be like 12 o'clock midnight there pretty soon. You got a couple 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, sure. I have, I'm a night owl.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder if that's like a parkour thing, because I was always a night owl too.
Yeah, me too. I wasn't doing parkour then though.
Night jams are actually so fun.
Oh, they're the best training ever. Like to not trust your eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds
because everything's
horrible.
Have
well,
you
it's
never
great because
trained
everything's in
at night?
shadow.
Not really. Like, I know that they're a thing in warmer countries. Like in Lisbon, they do like train at night because there's like street lights, but it's also like a bit cooler. Like it's no, I haven't really trained in the night because my eyes just like, I don't know, I can't see nothing in the dark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's dim light, street lights as well. Just just it's kind of cool. It
'Cause
it
you're not
screws
training
with
in
your
big
perspective.
things.
You're like a big LED light just strapped to your forehead. Stress.
Maybe it's just like always me, like, secretly or not so secretly, I actually want to be a ninja, and like when you want to sneak around in the night, and just different types of challenges than, training in the day.
Roofs at night, that's about it.
Well, there you go.
Creeping around corners. This is true, right? In the UK?
Yeah.
Mm. Do you much? Did you do a roof gap that I saw?
Yeah, I've done some roof stuff.
Yeah, good for you.
I think it's just because I'm so stupid, like when it comes to heights, like when I look over the edge, I'm like, whoa, but if I just look to the other side, it's not that deep, like I can just see like, oh, I'm only jumping from here to here. Sometimes I look down, like it doesn't bother me at all. Like the same with descents. I have this weird thing, like it doesn't bother me going from the first story or the sixth story because I just don't look down. I just look at where I'm going, and I stay calm.
You can see that when you do your descents from, I guess they would be parking garages, and you're coming down the staircase. You don't do your typical descent where it's like lying down. You actually do, and you crisscross over. It's kind of sick, actually. Yeah, I know.
I remember doing one that was like in Manchester where it was like these weird X's. And then
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Oh, that was really that like it wasn't scary when I was doing it, but I remember being too scared to drop to the rail, like because there was like two X's and like an actual rail. But the rail was like it wasn't like against the frame or anything. It was literally just a rail across, and I had to like there was like I could either like step down from like the middle of it, or I could drop like from like my there's a wall there from like my head height. So it was like a head height drop to a rail. But I remember being too scared to do it, so I had like a different technique of getting down. So I was like, right, I'm gonna go do it, and then I got my friend to film it, and I started doing it. But then for some reason, I was just like so in the flow that I just accidentally did the drop to the rail on like one of the last parts. And I was like, oh, well, that was fine. Like I was terrified, but it was like fine. So then I went back and then did the whole thing with like the drops to the rails, which was like, I think it looked way better, and it looked cooler as well. But I didn't see myself actually doing the drop to the rail until I accidentally did it. Because I was like, oh, when I was going, I was like, oh, I'm already dropped. Oh, I'm gone. I need to land on that rail now. Okay. Like it was an accident that I did it, but hey, yeah, worked out well.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Just gotta stay calm because I feel like if I panicked at that moment, and then I could have fallen off. But it's also like saying that calm move where I'm like, oh, I'm already going, gotta land on that rail. Like, just land on it. Like, I wasn't thinking about falling off. Whereas if I'd realized I was already going and I was like, oh my God, I'm going, and then I would like try and hold on or something, then could have gone wrong. Like, there was one time like during that same descent where I actually like missed my right foot and like shinned, but I just like I was still holding on in this hand, so I just underbarred through onto the stairs again. It's one of those ones where you just gotta stay calm the whole way, especially with heights and like roof gaps. Roof gaps, you got to commit from when you start running, kind of thing. There should never be any doubt of whether you're gonna do it after you've taken 2 steps. Like, you're going, like, kind of thing. Because obviously, if you come to that stumble, it's so like you need to build up that power to make the jump, and it's harder. Like, if you start running, it'll be harder to stop your run than it would be just to do the jump. And you should never be doing a jump at a roof height anyway that you don't know that you can make. Like with when it comes to roofs as well, like I can look at a jump and know whether I can make it most of the time. Like, and if I don't know whether I can make it, I'm not going to do the jump because that's just stupid. Where I will never do a jump. I'm like, don't know if I can make that. Well, actually, I did that to a rail once, but like I feel like deep down I knew that I actually could make it, kind of thing. But so yeah, you got to be 100% when it comes to high ups. Well, I did do a rail roof gap once that I wasn't 100% sure on, but like I feel like the reason I did it was because like I feel like in my head was like, oh, I don't know, but like I deep down I knew I could do it, kind of thing. So like while on the outside I was like, oh, I don't know if I can make it. Like deep down I felt like I knew I could. That's why I ended up going for it. So I wouldn't have done that if I thought I was going to bounce it. That makes sense.
No, that's so true. I do a lot of self-talk like that too. I get myself in the headspace and talk myself through talking myself out of it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Also not being afraid to walk away from a challenge if it's just not.
That too.
Yeah, especially if it's like a roof challenge, if it's like that much, like it's not a bad thing just to walk away. Like, but you know, a lot of people will like be annoyed themselves for that. But at the end of the day, you don't know what could have happened if you'd pushed yourself too hard for it. So could have gone better. You might not be here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, speaking of which, your bails. When you were doing your strides across those pillars, that was so cool. I'm so proud of you in that moment. She made it across, right? Was that your, I guess, second or whatever?
I made it across the first time.
Oh, and then the second time because you got to redeem that first time, right?
The second
for the last, just totally like. It was water based, right? So she's going across the pillars, striding. It looks so great. Does a big jump, cat to the other edge, and she just totally just
balls.
it was great. Like your legs rode and everything. It was awesome. It was so good.
Yeah. So the first
That's
time,
that commitment you're talking about. Like
yeah, the first time I did it, I made it, but I jumped and then I made the jump and then put my hand down like just to like. At the very end, like I was over the water. It was a big jump, like it wasn't those ones that it was like it was pretty big, and I made it. I just took like obviously I bent my knees quite a lot, so my chest was quite low down, so I just put my hand down and stood up, and I was like, I want to do it again because I want to do it without putting my hand down, and then I started going, and I was like, right, I'm going for it. I've already, there was no way of me stopping. I did actually try and stop, like the actual second attempt, I like did like 2, and then I was like, whoa, and then started like stumbling, and then eventually managed to like stop and then go back. So I started going again. I was like, right, I'm going too fast. I can't stop this time, and then did the last jump. But because of the angle of the pillars, like on the last jump, I needed to push to the left, but I kind of forgot that because I was too focused on the fact that like I was like I needed to keep running. That I kind of went too far straight. And then the jump became like huge, and then I was just like, right, well, bouncing it is. Like I just put my feet up because I was like, at this point, the best thing I can do is just put my feet up to it and just accept my fate in the water.
Oh, that's great. If you do come to NAPC, I would love to train with you because I
Yeah.
think that we have a really good outlook on training.
For sure, for sure.
Cool.
We'll get some sick challenges in.
Oh, show you a few places, that's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, the gym looks really sick. So,
Pardon me?
so I was just saying the gym looks really cool, so you could definitely get a good training session in.
Yeah, or even outdoor, See what
Yeah,
there is.
outdoor would be even cooler. I'm like scared of like the weather though. Is it warm? I don't know. In summer?
In Vancouver, it's warm all the time.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, the rest of Canada is jealous of Vancouver.
Maybe in
Actually, I would
Say
think
that again.
Vancouver is a lot more like the UK. Very similar
Yeah.
temperature, climate-wise.
I would agree with that too, yeah. Some
Right by
dank
an
cold
ocean.
days.
yeah, true.
Tom, do you want to get down to our last little bit here, or do you got a couple more questions?
I mean, we've gone through so much and all over, so yeah, I guess we can wrap it up with the last couple of things.
I could probably go for another hour, but no, this is some good stuff. That's great, but I don't want to turn it into a Joe Rogan episode,
3 hour, 45-minute episode here.
Back.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go on to just a couple top fives here. So we'll start with top 5 athletes, people you like to watch, or just inspirations for you.
Probably definitely Elise because we get to train together. And she's like a huge inspiration for me. Just even when it comes to like her mentality when it comes to training, we have a very similar drive, and she's so determined all the time. So as well as her like style, she's just great. Hazal probably as well. Like I really like her. Just the big jumps is very inspiring to watch. I think Kevin Franson from Keeper, probably one of my favorite athletes just to watch, just because everything's so smooth, as well as Lilou from France. And then one more is probably Travis.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, just because he's just insane. He's out of his mind. And his mentality is quite interesting to see his process through stuff as well, because he's one of those ones, he gets so angry at challenges sometimes.
Really, that's fun.
I wish, yeah, he doesn't post on Instagram much, but like he gets very angry. It's quite funny when he does post like little clips of him like yelling at stuff though. But yeah.
I mean, he has to be pretty strong mentally to do those challenges that he's doing.
Yeah, like he'll look at stuff and I'm like, how are you even comprehending that? And then the process that he does, he works up to it. He really puts himself through it. That's for sure.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, then let's go on to the top 5 training places. So either your favorite places to train or places you want to train.
Top 5. I really like Bristol in England. That's a really good one. Lisbon is probably a big favorite of mine now. I feel like Frankfurt in Germany. The spots suck. Like they're gonna hate me if I this, but the community is like a really good vibe. Like I really like the community there. They're all lovely. Glasgow is pretty good. I really like the spot's pretty good in Glasgow. And my favourite spot is in Nottingham, which isn't far from here. In Nottingham's like 45 minutes like south, but there's like a really nice spot that's just like walls everywhere. And then that's probably still my favourite spot, like happened to.
Nice.
I think I recall seeing the Nottingham spot on your Instagram too.
Yeah, it's on there somewhere. I did a Concrete, like quite a big Concrete there, and it was like, that one was terrifying to commit to. I was conging over like to the because there were walls here and there was like nothing here. I was like conging over and just landing down. It was like so much impact, and I was like,
yeah, that was the one, yeah.
Make it, and then I don't know why I just didn't just do it, but I'd rather just take impact for like a million times before realizing, I can't just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, so is parkour.
Well, true.
All right.
Do you want to take this last one, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is so hard because you could really like cherry pick a lot of stuff out of this podcast because you said so many wonderful things about
Yeah.
what you would give somebody for sage advice. So either like somebody just coming into parkour or like that you can give to somebody training or just something motto that you apply to parkour yourself.
My advice would be to be proud of your achievements and don't let anyone else diminish what you've achieved, because only you know how hard you worked for it.
Holy shit, that was so beautiful. Fuck. Oh, nice. I was expecting this whole elaborate thing and it was short and sweet.
Yeah.
Short and sweet, just like me. Oh, I'm like
Or-
5'5". That's like not that short, but still 5'5.3". It's
0.3.
yeah. Don't forget the 0.3. Oh wait,
Uh,
you don't use feet to measure, do you?
Oh, we
Canada's
do
kind of weird.
both.
Like we're metric, but imperial too.
166 centimeters. There you go.
Oh, I'm 175. If that matters.
Even taller.
Oh, whatever that gets me out of life.
Um, you can reach the top shelf.
Yeah.
Actually, right now I can.
Great.
Well, Rachel, thanks for accepting my reaching out and asking you to be on the podcast. I knew you'd be a thrill. So I thank you once again. I know this is pretty late for you, and that's wicked. I really would like you to come back on the podcast. Okay, cool. Cool.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
Well-
been a lot of fun.
It really has. It's really nice to have a different perspective on everything, and I really appreciate you out there doing your thing.
Yeah, that means so much. I appreciate you for making this
Yeah.
podcast and really doing something for the community. So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's why
All
we're
right.
doing it. That's the only reason why we do this is for the community. We don't get any money out of it. We don't get any sponsors. We just get it to see our family across the world.
Amazing. Awesome. Yeah. That's
Single tier.
All right. Well, everyone, please subscribe and like and check it out on your platforms, which would be Spotify, Apple, Google. Am I missing something else, Tom?
Everything. It's
You
any
got it.
major podcast. Where can people find your stuff though, Rachel? Where should they look?
You can find me on Instagram at Rachel_Gough if you want to check out my parkour and stuff.
Sick.
Awesome. Cool. I'll include that in the description of this too for anyone that wants to check that out. Guess we'll end it there. Bye,
All
everyone.
right.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, everybody.